everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is our very first episode on the Real Men channel. That's real with two E's. So, as in movie reels, let's see what we did there.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Andrew Hanna, so I'll be your host for this video. And with me is Matt Harris and Zachary Kelly. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Super.
All right, cool. For our very first video, we thought that we would pick a movie and just do a full spoiler review on it. So before we go any further, I want to reiterate that this is a full spoiler review on Avengers: Age of Ultron. So if you have not seen this movie yet, go out and see it. We do not want to be responsible for ruining your theater experience. So come back after you've seen the movie. So let's just jump right into it.
Awesome.
I want to know your guys' first impression coming out of Age of Ultron for the first time. Matt, why don't we start with you?
Oh gosh, exhilarating. It started off and it finished perfect. Like you got into the movie and you was entertained thoroughly right when the first scene opened with the slow mo, everything, the action, and then it leveled off and it was just outstanding. I loved it.
Zach?
I think it kind of picked up where the first one left off with them working as a team. You see it right from the first scenes of the movie. Them, working together and so forth. Got Cap hitting or Thor hitting Cap's shield and stuff to take out some of
the teamwork
the
aspect of it,
villains.
and like almost like the video game type combo moves. I guess where they would team up for their, like you said, the shield and hammer bash or whatever. And it did seem like that. Even like in interviews with the actors, like Chris Hemsworth, he said that they for the second one they felt more like a family. So I'm sure that helped to work more into their acting and the teamwork aspect of the film made that a lot better. So,
it definitely showcased the whole idea of the movie in general.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in Hawkeye and actually developing the character when they take him home to their safe house, actually being his house, which is awesome.
That was awesome. And that brings up another great point that I really want to talk about and spend a lot of time on, is Hawkeye. He is focused on so much in this movie, and that was something that was seriously lacking in the first movie. But Hawkeye is so developed in this movie.
Oh yeah. It had some undertones as far as like it developed him as a character. So you got to see him live his life, and in the whole movie as a whole, especially when we get Vision, you see where it talks about life as humanity, and it's exceptional. I don't know how to explain it. It was so amazing. And I just loved his line where he was like, when talking about Vision's talking about Ultron, he's like, I'm not on the side of Ultron, and he's like, Ultron, how do you say it? I'm on the side of life, Ultron's not. And
right.
That hits it out of the park for me.
Right.
It was wonderful.
Right. What are your thoughts on Hawkeye, Zach?
I think overall, and this is a running motif throughout the movie, like you said, with Ultron and how he wants to destroy humanity. And that's basically the motif of the film. Is humanity, given Hawkeye humanity instead of just this trained killer who's throwing arrows all over the place, and it just shows
really humanized Hawkeye.
Also, when you see that with Johansson, as far as her scene where she's talking about how they, what's it called? She can't become pregnant.
She can't get pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. And she says she's a monster, and then her and Mark Ruffalo talk, and she's like, you find that she feels so horrible about being an assassin that she doesn't feel human, but really she is, because she has these emotions, which makes it beautiful, in my opinion.
Okay, I want to talk about that opening shot, the opening scene of the battle in that snow area where they're trying to get into the fortress, and the banter, the dialogue between all these guys as that scene is constantly going on about, and like that running joke throughout the whole film about the bad language.
Yeah, watch your language. Yeah.
Yeah, watch your language. I thought that was so funny.
Yes.
Gosh, man, the dialogue going back and forth between these guys was just hilarious. And like where that scene where Hawkeye gets shot on the side and Black Widow goes to help him, and she's like, "Will someone take out that bunker?" And you just see Hulk really smash it. It's like, "Thank you." So that whole scene, this movie was just so much more action packed than the first one. I never thought I'd say that, because the first Avengers was incredibly action packed, but it was like this one was nonstop, and we see that because the very opening scene is just action.
It gets you
action,
entertained,
action.
like you're
It
ready
does.
for it.
Yeah. So
I think that's a credit to the second movie, in most franchises at least, is going to be more action because you have the characters established. And yeah, there was the I guess the ones leading up to the first one. You know, the Iron Man, the second Hulk movie, Captain America and Thor. But also you had, I guess, after that's all developed and everything with the first movie, you get it all established what the story's going to be about. The second movie is just able to dive right into that. You know, after you've established the team chemistry, and it just flows a lot better, I think. And you know, it's apparent right from the beginning of the movie, as you were saying.
Because you have the trust within the characters. It's no longer, can I trust you as Iron Man? Like, we've seen what you do, and so on and so forth. Especially Hulk. Like you think of Hulk, he destroys towns. And,
they really do. Yeah, they put a lot of trust in Hulk in this one.
Exactly.
They trust like Bruce Banner to be able to control
Mm-hmm.
what he's got within him. You know, I thought that was cool.
And that goes back to the relationship between Hulk and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get why.
I actually, you know, when I was watching the trailers for this movie, before I even saw it, I wasn't even sure how I feel about that,
Mhm.
about that relationship. But I bought into it when I first saw it. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't like a Tony Stark Pepper Potts relationship or anything like that. But it was nice.
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome because you had the dynamic, like I was talking about earlier, with Johansson feeling like a monster. I mean, literally.
A monster.
Yeah, a monster. like the drink, no, a monster. And Hulk is literally a monster, and it just fits so perfectly within that idea. And
They fit well together because
Definitely.
of that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
Let's talk about the main villain. Let's talk about Ultron. How does he compare with other villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And just, what did you guys think of Ultron overall?
oh, go ahead.
No, please.
I think he was hilarious. I was disappointed as far as how you introduced him or how they introduced him. It was too fast. Like
Too fat, yeah.
You see them taking over Jarvis, and then it's like, what? And then it goes cut straight to the scene where he's talking to them, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Ultron." Da da da. And then the next scene, he's with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. It's like, what? That
He's
happened
now a villain.
like 5
Like
minutes.
20 minutes into the movie, he's already the big baddie.
I think, I mean, him just, there's one running joke, like, Ultron spends, you know, just a few minutes on the internet, and he just already knows humanity is just awful. It's just
Which I think that's beautiful, though, in a sense that there is a lot of people on the internet that's,
I do feel like that whole part was a bit rushed. But I think with what they were working with, I think they did it well. Like that part where he's downloading information,
But
like
he's
at a rapid rate.
Yeah, he's a supercomputer, so he's able to do it so quickly, you know? I mean, he's
Yeah.
able to process it, and it's kind of like the scene in Fifth Element with Leeloo Dallas, just downloading, you know,
Yeah.
looking up the internet and seeing war, and she questions whether or not she should save humanity, whether it's worth saving at all. And it kind of plays with that same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Where Ultron questions, you know, is humanity worth it, you know, and then he decides to wipe it out.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm wondering if, you know, because we heard that there's supposed to be a 3-hour cut of this movie that's going to come out on the Blu-ray.
I was
I'm
thinking
wondering if
about
there's
that.
going to be some more development in there of Ultron.
I hope so. I really do. Because I really liked Ultron as a character. It was awesome.
hilarious, and he was menacing, I guess, for
Oh, yeah.
James Spader's voice
yeah.
added so much. It would not have been the same without
It was
that.
incredible. I loved him as a villain. I didn't like how he was created.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Some of the lines, man, he had so many quotable lines,
Oh, yeah.
like some Darth Vader quotable lines in this movie. I thought,
I really
like where he was talking to, Ulysses Claw. What's the actor's name? I keep forgetting his name.
I have no idea.
Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
Excuse me. He says that line. He says, "Keep your enemies rich, or your friends rich, and your enemies rich.
And know
wait
which
to
is which."
find out which is which."
Yes.
I thought that was.
I like the line between him and Tony Stark where they're I just went blank. But it's like he was like,
What about the omelet?
yeah, that was beautiful. But the line I was talking about, he's like, well, let me just take a second to explain to you what my evil plan is.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's like, I'm just going to be your normal, average, everyday villain and sit here and go into a monologue about my plan. Psych! Bam!
It's perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. Okay, now what about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch? I liked these characters for what they were, I guess, but they weren't as like they didn't stand out as much as I thought as I thought they would.
Okay, I want to go on record and say I'm a loser and I have not watched Days of Future Past, so I don't have that Quicksilver from that
scene.
movie.
Okay, let's not get into spoilers about,
however,
Days of Future Past.
However, I really like this Quicksilver. I did. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is that his name?
Johnson, yeah.
Anyhow, he did incredible. I thought from the limited lines he had and limited time he had on screen, which was not much compared to the others. He developed well. Like, I actually cared for him when he died at the end of the movie.
Yeah. I actually did too, now that I think about it, yeah.
Scarlet Witch, in my opinion, one of the best performances in the whole movie.
Other than the bad Russian accent.
Yeah,
Can you really
Russian
blame
accents
her?
were
The
distracting.
whole country was made up and it was European, not Russian. So, I mean, can you really judge could you really judge her by a fake country? It was literally called Sokovia.
Here, I want to hear what Zach had to say.
Well, I mean, to me, it was distracting a little bit. I mean, it took a little while to get into it, I guess, with Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson doing their Russian impressions. You know, it just didn't stick. You know, other than that, I think they did a solid job. You know,
the
playing
characters
roles.
were developed pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So-
Like I said, I think she gave one of the best performances throughout the whole movie because when she's brainwashing everybody, you absolutely hate her.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the movie, you're like, yeah, give me more
I
Scarlet
love
Witch.
that part, like going off what you said, where she is like hypnotizing everybody right there, and she goes up to do it to Hawkeye, and he's like, no, and sticks that arrow on her head, and is like, no, I've done the mind control thing before.
Not my thing.
Not a fan. I thought that was awesome. I was worried that Hawkeye's gonna get hypnotized again.
Yeah, I was like, we've seen it, we don't want to see it anymore, and then boom, it hits you like it was not cliche because you did not expect it, and it was wonderful. One of my favorite things of the whole movie, actually.
I thought that scene, you know, where Quicksilver does die, she senses it right away and then goes down on her knees, and you actually right there that part you see how powerful she actually is because you see all those drones flying in over her about to attack her, and she just disintegrates them. And in the comic books, she's supposed to be like one of the most powerful characters of all the Marvel characters. So I really think that she's gonna have a big part to play in movies to come.
I'm really excited for it, actually. Like I said, I loved her character, so I have no complaints with her, and I have no complaints with Aaron Taylor Johnson or whatever his name is.
Now we hinted at him earlier, but I want to talk about Vision. Vision is my absolute favorite part of this movie. I thought they did him absolutely perfectly.
Again, with limited lines, this guy hits it out the park. Paul Bettany, oh my God.
That first scene, oh God. My favorite scene in the entire movie is, you know, you have that first scene where they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer and they can't do it. And he's like, oh, you're all not with it, you know. And then that scene at the end where all he has to do, Vision just picks up and hands it to Thor. It's like, hey, we gotta go, let's go.
And just like it was a piece of luggage.
Yeah, and I've heard some people say that, like Ultron, Vision's intro was rushed. I disagree with that because of that scene. It's like, okay, this guy just came out of nowhere, and now we automatically trust him.
It goes back to, like I said, that one line where he's like, Ultron is, I want to paraphrase. It's like, Ultron's different than me. I stand for life, he doesn't, so on and so forth. And that, to me, it develops the character. It shows.
It does develop the character. I'm talking about the trust that came out of nowhere, really, from the Avengers.
I think that sets it apart because he acknowledges where Ultron is.
Essentially, him picking up the hammer
establishes all
that they needed. Yeah, right there.
Then now that they see that he's worthy, and obviously none of them were, and so this guy's obviously
true.
He's obviously
didn't think about that
awesome.
at all, actually. But I think as soon as he said Ultron is more or less like a jerk, and I'm the nice guy and I stand for life, he does it, let's go kill him. I think that pretty much did it for him. And then especially when they went out in battle, because they really did not have a choice except to accept him, and he went out there and fought with them. I think that initially said, hey, look, this guy's good.
Now that final action scene, we talked about Ultron earlier, and I thought he was a great villain. Still not my favorite. Loki's still up there for me.
Yeah.
But I feel that he was underused in that final act.
Yeah.
Because as I perceived Ultron from the comic books and so forth, he's pretty much unbeatable almost. He
Yeah.
can take on all the Avengers all at once and win.
I will say the scene where Jarvis or Vision, I still didn't understand that scene where he just like pins him up against the wall and more or less takes him off the internet. I think that could have been done better and more elaborated upon. And I think it could have been over a course instead of within 2 seconds. But I understood it enough to watch the movie and be able to incorporate into this argument, obviously. But I think it could have been done better.
Zach, what do you think about that?
I kind of agree. You know, he was slightly underused, and it starts to focus really on the Avengers there, the last part of the movie, the last act, and it doesn't give as much credit to the villain. You know, but he does get his due, and maybe like you said, the extended cut will have a little bit more of him to where we don't feel that wanting more kind of thing to the point where it
Also, the last
feels
act,
half-baked.
it almost to me feels recycled, like from the last movie.
From the first one? Maybe
Yes.
a little. Well, I mean,
They didn't really
fought that another army of minions again, and kind of like Loki too. Loki was kind of off to the side watching.
Yeah.
Same way with Ultron, he was just kind of off to the
Well,
side while they were fighting the army. That was kind of rehashed.
So, I mean, it was still an incredible movie, but it's not perfect by no means. I loved it though, and I will buy it.
Yeah, the day it comes out, me too. It was just so awesome and so fun. That I haven't had any more fun this year watching a movie than Age of Ultron in the theater.
Nope, I agree. I'm on par with you right now.
Now, that very last scene, and then we'll close with this, I think, where Thor leaves, Iron Man supposedly quits again. I don't know about that because we saw him supposedly quit in Iron Man 3, but we see the new Avengers team. What do you guys think about that? We had War Machine, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, which I'm so glad to see Falcon back.
Yes.
I loved his character, Cap, and Black Widow. What do you think of the new team?
I think it's interesting. I'm really into it. Can't wait to see what happens and what unfolds. So they got me for another one.
I think this team here is an Avengers team that they could use in non-Avengers movies.
Definitely.
They can have this team pop up because they're not, the pretty boys like
They
Thor,
don't
the
have-
leading men from Thor and Iron Man. And then when Infinity War comes around, they'll bring back the original Avengers, and that will be the stars of the next Avengers film. But as of now, this team looks like it could be used in all the standalone films if they wanted to. Let's go to the last scene. Where we see now that they have the new Avengers team. Thor has left. Iron Man has left. I guess. I mean, we saw him leave in the end of Iron Man 3. I don't know how long that's going to last. But where we see the new Avengers team. We got War Machine, Vision, which I'm so excited for. Can't wait to see more of him.
Vision.
Scarlet Witch, Falcon. I'm so excited to see Falcon again. I love that character in Winter Soldier. And then Cap and Black Widow. What do you think of this new team, guys?
I think it's interesting. I think you got a lot more people that we can embellish upon and develop. So it'd be fun to see where it all goes. And I'm really excited, like you said, for Vision, and then especially Scarlet Witch. She was my favorite out of this whole movie, so I'm really excited.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's that prelude in, and especially like future movies to come, and it just gets you hyped up for it. So yeah.
Do you feel that the movie wrapped up the way you wanted it to?
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
The scene with Tony Stark and Cap are talking, I hated it. But the joke was
Hated it? Really?
Yeah, the joke was funny, but I feel like they should have ended on a bad note.
To lead into Civil War.
You got it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. You
Yeah.
know, it like I said, it's there's the with Iron Man creating Ultron, and then you have Captain America getting really mad at him. You have Thor mad at him, grabbing his throat, lifting him up, and you see the tension right there. You see like, oh, this is how it's gonna be going into Civil War. And then you just don't get that at the end of the movie. Like they're talking about the elevator and is the elevator worthy of the hammer?
That was funny.
But it's almost like, oh, you just created a robot that's going to kill mankind? That's cute. We're friends again.
That's a good point. I do kind of agree with that. I mean, it would only fit. I mean, with all the setup that they're doing for all of the movies to come, you know, it seems like that would be the more important one because that's the
I mean,
almost the
especially
very
seeing,
next one.
especially seeing the Thor scene where he just disappears and goes to the lake for Thor. What's it called? I can't say it.
Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Right.
that thing. It made no sense. But they were building upon that for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they would want the end on a note like that so they could build upon for the future.
Right.
And they didn't, which disappointed me. But it was still a great movie. So I'm happy.
Let's real fast. Let's talk about the after credit scene. My favorite after credit scene of all of them now. Very, very simple. It was only like 10 seconds long. You just see Thanos reach down, grab the Infinity Gauntlet, and what did he say? He said, "Now I'll do it myself," or something like that.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about that?
I hated it.
Really?
You've seen it in the first movie. It's like, yes, Thanos is going to be in Avengers too. And oh no, it's Ultron. And then at the end of the movie they did it again. It's like, really? Yeah. I mean, I'm going to see the second movie, but why would you do it again?
Yeah.
So
It's like they're previewing a movie that's not coming for years.
you hit it on the head there.
Set up for the very next one. Right?
And it's almost disappointing to agree. It's like, is he going to be in Civil War? Maybe.
Maybe.
So there is that build up, and I think it's necessary, you know, to tease the audience. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the first Avengers, you have Ultron there, and you think, oh, you know, he's going to be in the next one, and then, oh no, maybe not, you know.
Oh, you mean Thanos?
Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that. All right, so
Because Ultron was so good.
yeah, but, yeah, Thanos, you know, you have him teased, and then he doesn't appear, but then he's, you know, in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's just a little more teasing, a little bit more, and you know, I think it's going to be a good payoff when it finally gets to the.
I hope so.
That's
Infinity War.
yeah, I think so too. All right, to wrap up, I want to give
I want
us
to say one more thing, actually.
Oh, okay.
What about Joss Whedon leaving?
Joss Whedon. I'm happy.
Really?
I am.
I'm kind of disappointed. Like, I like this guy, and I thought if it had not been Marvel Studios, and I hate to say this, I think the movie could have been a lot better.
Wow.
But if the Russo brothers are taking over, I mean, I'm really excited.
I feel like the Russo brothers, for me, Winter Soldier is my favorite standalone of all of them. It's my favorite even more than the original Iron Man or the original Thor. I think they did the best directing job out of every single director that they have had so far. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the next Avengers movie.
I just really like Joss Whedon. You?
It's exactly the same, and there's lots of continuity there when you go from, you know, one director, like say, take for example Kick-Ass with Matthew Vaughn leaving after the first movie, and then the second movie just didn't have the same kind of flow and chemistry as the first one does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anytime you have a director leave, especially one of Whedon's caliber, what he brought to the first two movies, it's just gonna kind of be lacking. But yeah, with the Russo brothers taking over, I think it'll be all right.
Another example is the Thor films.
Mm-hmm.
The first Thor film I thought was directed masterfully. That was
Yeah.
actually before Winter Soldier came out. It was my favorite standalone. And then the second Thor came out, which was a big step down from the first Thor.
I totally agree.
So yeah, all the change in directors,
They can be jumbled up at times,
Yeah.
and it can take away a lot.
Yeah, like Iron Man 3, you know, whenever Favreau left, even though Iron Man 2 wasn't as good, what they did with Iron Man 3, you know,
It doesn't have the same theme.
It doesn't.
That's it.
And making Mandarin out to be a joke, you know, and it just that really kind of takes away, especially for a lot of fans. Even though the film itself is better in a way than the second Iron Man movie, I think them ruining Mandarin, especially one of Iron Man's most, you know, one of his biggest rivals. You know,
Yeah.
It's almost like having someone else paint the Mona Lisa. It's not going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good way to put it. All right, so let's give it a score. All right, I feel like Ultron, his story was rushed a little bit at the beginning, and I also feel that there was a little too much action. The pacing I thought was too fast. There was just action after action after action, and there was no other scene other than the farmhouse scene where you kind of had a chance to,
Except
rest.
Thor just goes off for like 45 minutes. Or it seems like it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 movie reels, just on those two things. So yeah, what do you think?
I want to give it the same thing. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 movie reels simply because it's what you paid to see. It's a summer blockbuster. That's what you're going to expect. That's what you're going to see. And for what it was, they hit this thing out of the park. Is it going to be nominated for an Oscar? Absolutely not. But I think it does have some of the themes in there that could later on lead to a movie that has that opportunity if, say, a movie's slacking in a future year. And it's a popcorn flick that I'm willing to see again.
I gotta give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's everything you want it to be. Not as good as the first one. The first one's probably a 5 out of 5. But it's still very, very good. Very well made. So, and it just picks up where the first one leaves off. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
All right, I want to thank you guys for joining us for our very first episode on the Real Men's channel. Man, this was fun. I want to thank Matt Harris for being here with us and talking with us, and Zachary Kelly for being our guest. Thank you for being here. If you like this video, you can go down and hit that like button for us, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our movies or videos to come. And also check us out on Twitter. You can see the Twitter handle at the bottom of the screen. So until next time, guys, I think our next video is going to be a spoiler-free review of Mad Max Fury Road. Excited about that, yeah. So until then, we will see you guys later.